Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever it is, your part of the world. My name is Andrew Jardine, the so-called whiteboard warrior. I'm here today to talk to you in two parts about the wonderful, wacky world of performance management. This is all part of a series of films around the world of Wawa, which if you've seen a previous video, you'll know what it means. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to tell you, so you can see it, and the surprise will be awesome. Right. Performance management, there is a basic maxim that's underpinning performance management, which is this: if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So the key thing is you need to identify areas or parameters that you can measure, and that will then allow you to influence and manage, etc. And as a manager of people, it is your primary responsibility to get performance through the activity of others. So again, if you own a business or if you are a manager, this should be of some interest to you. Before I do that, I want to explain something else, just very, very quickly, just to set a bit of a scene. I've been very lucky in my management and training career to work with some incredible managers. And one of the things that they've shared with me is this basic principle about the four types of people that you meet in the workplace. The first are natural talents, people that just have an ability to pick up any task or any skill and run with it like they've been doing it forever. Then we get people that work hard, get results. I would class myself in that category. Work hard, needs support. So again, people that are committed to the job, but maybe they need a little bit of a helping hand to really get performance. And then finally, we have the people who won't work, don't care. They drift through life thinking it owes them a living, and who knows, maybe they're right. But you as a manager have a responsibility from the business. They've given you the badge. It's your job to make sure that these people can perform and at least perform to standard, which I'll come to in a second. As a manager, it is always, always in your interest to be focusing time, effort, commitment, and all of those other general management buzzwords in these areas here. Somebody that works hard and gets results, if you can support them, if you can enable them, if you can facilitate their performance to get an extra 5 or 10%, you're winning. People here that work hard but need support, that can be anything from keeping them focused to a smart objective through to just a little ego rub and letting them know that they're doing well. Natural talents generally kind of take care of themselves. They will come, they will go. A general natural talent will probably find that a job doesn't stimulate them after 6 months or a year. So it may be that they move through. They might stay within the business, and that's a good thing, or they may move on as long as they don't go to the competition. That's probably not a bad thing. So, they won't work, don't care. These characters generally it's your responsibility to manage up or manage out of a business, which we will come to at a later stage. So this is the four types of people. Whiteboard warrior is just searching for his ninja rubber. Right, so those are the four kinds of people. As you can see, the whiteboard warrior does all his own stunts. There you go, we are back in the game. Right, so performance management, basic principles. Every organisation, no matter what it does, should have some form of performance standard, a required what good looks like, what you are to do in the business. If you have an organisation that works on the premise of, yeah, come in when you like, do what you want, yeah, don't worry if you don't get it done by the end of the week, it's not a problem. If that's your business mantra, then great, good luck with that. But generally, most organisations will have a system whereby there is an expected output. Generally speaking, depending on the nature of the company, it might be a service, it might be a product. A required performance standard can be a knowledge, a skill, an attitude, or just a very, very simple output. Any of those things will work, but it is what is understood between the employed masses as what's expected from them by the organisation. And that's based on what the organisation needs to do to take its product to market and be profitable. Make sense? Good. Okay. Glad you said that. Now, there is also, or there should also be, a recognised minimum performance standard. Now, minimum performance standard, as you might have seen in Wawa, is where we are getting to a situation where performance needs to be addressed. So, if I, AJ, and working to the required performance standard, it's all good in the hood, no problems whatsoever. If my performance falls down to or below the minimum required performance standard, that's when somebody in the business should be sitting me down and we're having a wow moment. When you are looking at the fall from performance standard to minimum performance standard, what we will be looking at are things like limiting factors. So, what are the things that is holding poor AJ back? That could be a lack of skill, so we need a bit of training. It could be a lack of tools, so maybe we need to invest in the role. Or it could be a noisy environment, or it could be a bad manager. So, limiting factors are very, very important. The next thing we would look at are drivers. What are the things that AJ does well? What are the things that might support his performance improvement? Those could be things like good attention to detail. It could be that he's committed to the organisation. It could be that he's a bright spark and a quick study, and maybe if we give him the skills and we give him some training, he can pick things up, no problem whatsoever. So, that is, in very, very simple terms, the concept of performance management. Have a required performance standard. Normally you would see that on a job description. Have a minimum required standard where you understand as a business, if people get to this point, we have a problem, and then manage accordingly. Limiting factors and drivers. In my experience, every job function can have some form of measure, some form of performance standard, some form of minimum required standard. If you're in an organisation and you think that that's not possible, then please either drop me a comment or get in touch and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. Primary benefits of performance management, as I'll explain in the second part as well, is that generally when people are aligned to a performance outcome, then they understand the expectation, they can perform more effectively and efficiently, and generally when people know what's expected of them, they feel a little bit more motivated and in control of their working day and destiny. So that's not a bad thing. My name's Andrew Jardine, so-called Whiteboard Warrior. This has been the first part of performance management. Thank you for your time. Ciao.